Agartha, also known as Shambhala or Shangri-La, is a legendary kingdom that is said to be located inside the hollow earth at the Earth's core, inhabited by an ancient civilization known as the Agarthans. It is related to the belief in a hollow earth and is a popular subject in esotericism. Supposedly, there are several entrances to this underground city of Agartha, some of which are in wells and outwells of energy, including Kentucky Mammoth Cave, in the United States, the enigmatic Bermuda Triangle, the Soviet Union, and interestingly one being the Himalayan mountains in Tibet, which is allegedly guarded by the Hindu monks. Alexandre Sontive d'Alveydre, a 19th-century French occultist, published his first account on Agartha, saying that this hidden world will be accessible for all the mankind, but only once the world above attains spiritual balance in our governance. According to Sontive, the hidden land of Agartha lies deep below the surface of the earth, somewhere within the mountain ranges of the Himalayas. This enormous underground complex of cities and a population of millions is ruled by a sovereign pontiff known as the Brahatma and his two colleagues the Mahatma and the Mahanga, upholding the highest of values in their authority. As protectors of knowledge, the entire collected wisdom of the ages is enshrined in its massive stone libraries, engraved in pillars in Vatanyan script. Whatever Agartha truly was, this realm was supposed to preserve great wisdom and ancient knowledge. The most prominent use of such knowledge was through the 22-letter script known as Vatanyan, which was said to have went all the way back to the origins of civilization, precisely 51,900 BC, the confusion of the languages, and since then had been kept solely within the protected libraries of Agartha. Vatanyan in question was an example of a proposed primordial or Adamic language. Also known by the names Agartha, Agarthi or Agartha, it is often associated with Shambhala, a mythical kingdom, mentioned in various ancient texts such as Vishnu Purana, stating it to be the birthplace of Kalki, as the capital city of Agartha. Hindus know Shambhala as Aryavartha, the land of worthy ones, the land of Vedas, and it has also been called as the land of living gods, the forbidden land, the land of white waters, and the land of living fire. Ancient philosophy states that Agartha was first colonized thousands of years ago when a holy man led a tribe to the underground. The people, known as Agarthans, have scientific knowledge and expertise far beyond that of the people who live on the surface of the planet. Long has this hidden civilization enjoyed advancement of technology at a much greater pace than our own, including gas lighting, railways, and air travel. Agarthans also developed their own religion, which Hinduism is believed to have been derived from. Their religion inspired the author Lord Dunsany to write a book, The Gods of Pegana, based on it. Though Agarthan society flourishes largely in complete isolation, they keep careful record of the discoveries of modern man, even from the remotest regions, by means of a vast network of tunnels that span across the earth. But despite this, the Agarthians have evolved separately from the rest of the world for so many years that they developed two tongues, which allows them to speak in two different languages at the same time. The king of the Agarthan world is believed to have given orders to the Dalai Lama of Tibet, who is his terrestrial representative. His messages are transmitted through certain secret tunnels connecting the inner world of Agartha with Tibet. The theory early source for the belief in underground civilizations is the Smoky God Af Link, 1908, by Willis George Emerson, 1856–1918, which claims to be the biography of a Norwegian sailor named Olaf Jansen. The book explains how Jansen's sloop sailed through an entrance to the Earth's interior at the North Pole. For 2 years he lived with the inhabitants of an underground network of colonies who, Emerson writes, were a full 12 feet tall and whose world was lit by a smoky central sun. Their capital city was said to be the original Garden of Eden. While Emerson does not use the name Agartha, later works such as Agartha, Secrets of the Subterranean Cities have identified the civilization Jansen encountered with Agartha, and its citizens as Agarthan. According to Secrets of the Subterranean Cities, Shambhala the Lesser, one of the colonies, was also the seat of government for the network. While Shambhala the Lesser is an inner continent, its satellite colonies are smaller enclosed ecosystems located just beneath the Earth's crust or discreetly within mountains. The many cataclysms and wars that took place on the surface drove these people underground. The lengthy Atlantean-Lemurian War and the power of thermonuclear weaponry is what many believe eventually sank and destroyed these two highly advanced civilizations. The Sahara, the Gobi, the Australian outback, and the deserts of the US are but a few examples of the devastation that resulted. The sub-cities were created as refuges for the people and as safe havens for sacred records, teachings and technologies that were cherished by these ancient cultures. The inhabitants of the Old Ones, in an article entitled The Hollow Earth, Myth or Reality for Atlantis Rising, Brad Steiger writes of the legends of the Old Ones. An ancient race that populated the surface world millions of years ago and then moved underground. The Old Ones, an immensely intelligent and scientifically advanced race, Steiger writes, have chosen to structure their own environment under the surface of the planet and manufacture all their necessities. The Old Ones are hominid, extremely long-lived, and predate Homo sapiens by more than 1 million years. The Old Ones generally remain aloof from the surface peoples, but from time to time, they have been known to offer constructive criticism, and it has been said, they often kidnap human children to tutor and rear as their own. The Elder Race, one of the most controversial tales of inner Earth dwellers is the so-called Shaver mystery. In 1945, Amazing Stories magazine under the editorship of Ray Palmer ran a story told by Richard Shaver, who claimed he had recently been the guest of what remained of an underground civilization. Although few really believed the story, and many suspect that Shaver may actually have been psychotic, Shaver always averred that his story was true. He contended that the Elder Race, or Titans, came to this planet from another solar system in our prehistoric past. After a time of living on the surface, they realized our sun was causing them to age prematurely, so they escaped underground, building huge subterranean complexes in which to live. Eventually, they decided to seek a new home on a new planet, evacuating the Earth and leaving behind their underground cities populated by artificial beings, the evil Dero, detrimental robots, and the good Tero, integrated robots. It was these beings that Shaver claimed to have met. The Buddhist ancient philosophy states that Agartha was first colonized thousands of years ago when a holy man led a tribe to the underground. The people have scientific knowledge and expertise far beyond that of the people who live on the surface of the planet. Buddhist theory suggests there to be a race of supermen and superwomen who occasionally come to the surface to oversee the development of the human race. It is also believed that this subterranean world has millions of inhabitants and many cities. The king of this world is believed to have given orders to the Dalai Lama of Tibet, who is his terrestrial representative. His messages are transmitted through certain secret tunnels connecting the inner world of Agartha with Tibet. The Native Americans among the Native American peoples, the Navajo legends teach that the forerunners of man came from beneath the earth. The Ancient Ones had supernatural powers but were driven from their caverns by a great flood. Once on the surface, they passed on their great knowledge to the human race before once again seeking their great sanctuary. The Pueblo Indians' mythology also places their god's place of origin in the inner earth. The inner world was supposedly connected to the surface people by a hole in the north. The ancient writings of the Chinese, Egyptians, and Eskimos speak of a great opening in the north and of a race of people who live under the earth's crust. The writings say that their ancestors came from the paradise land in the earth's interior. In India there is an ancient belief, still held by some, in a subterranean race of serpent people who dwell in the cities Patala and Bhogavati. According to the legend, they wage war on the kingdom of Agartha. The Nagas, according to the deep dwellers, are described as a very advanced race or species, with highly developed technology. They also harbor a disdain for human beings, whom they are said to abduct, torture, interbreed with and even to eat. While the entrance to Bhagavati is somewhere in the Himalayas, believers assert that Patala can be entered through the well of Sheshna in Banaras, India. Says William Michael Mott in The Deep Dwellers, according to herpetologist and author Sherman A. Minton, as stated in his book Venomous Reptiles, this entrance is very real, with 40 steps which descend into a circular depression, to terminate at a closed stone door which is covered in bas-relief cobras. In Tibet, there is a major mystical shrine also called Patala, which is said by the people there to sit atop an ancient cavern and tunnel system, which reaches throughout the Asian continent, and possibly beyond. The Nagas also traditionally have an affinity with water, and the entrances to their underground palaces are often said to be hidden at the bottom of wells, deep lakes and rivers. The famous Russian channel, Nicholas Rurik, who was a channel for the ascended master, El Morya, claimed that Lhasa, the capital of Tibet, was connected by a tunnel with the inner earth, Shambhala. The entrance of this tunnel was guarded by lamas who were sworn to secrecy. A similar tunnel was believed to connect the secret chambers at the base of the Great Pyramid at Giza, and Agartha. Tibetan document reveals that survivors from ancient Atlantis are living inside Earth, Agartha. If you look closely at Tibetan maps, you can see that Kanja and Tanja were supposed to be the seat of a secret empire known as Shambhala. After all, Tibetans believed they may uncover the last known survivors from the two continents Antantes and Mu, which were sunken in the Atlantic and Pacific, respectively, thus it makes canonical sense. The work of Saint Yves d'Alveydre will be the most important document we will look at. Agartha, he claims, is encased in a dome that keeps it hidden from the rest of the world. However, according to some texts, Agartha is concealed deep beneath the Himalayas. And it is rumored to be the location of an ancient library, where the smartest of our planet learn holy language in order to ultimately be able to speak Vatan, the global language. The last known survivors, according to most accounts, sought refuge in the Himalayan mountains, where they split off and established their own spiritual centers known as Agartha and Shambhala. The fundamental difference between the two is that Agartha is more about contemplation and is a force of virtue and justice, whereas Shambhala is more of a fortification where people prepare for the end of the world. There are 4 gates to this kingdom, one in Russia, another in India, one in Oriental Tibet, and the final one in Borneo. However, given that the location is ruled by superior creatures called as Mahatma, or more particularly the Great Spirits, we wouldn't advocate visiting Shambhala anytime soon. They've reached at the pinnacle of humanity's evolution, and they're on the lookout for us to save us from extinction.